You don't need to beg. You don't need to scream. If she hurt you, do this and watch what happens. She'll rethink everything, not when you shout, but when you stop trying to fix her, when you stop making excuses for the hurt she caused, when your actions say, "I won't tolerate this." This video is not just about her apologizing. It's about reclaiming your self-worth in every relationship. Watch closely, because once you understand what I'm about to tell you, you'll never be the same again. Comment "No more crumbs" if you're done accepting less than you deserve. Number 1. Don't reward breadcrumbs. You're tired of being treated like an option while giving someone everything. She knows exactly what she's doing. When she disappears for days and comes back with a vague compliment or a laughing emoji, she knows she'll get a response from you because you've trained her that your attention has no boundaries. She doesn't need to apologize, explain, or show real effort because she's seen that a few crumbs will keep you orbiting. And deep down, you know it too. But you've been conditioned to chase potential instead of patterns, to value feelings over facts, and to accept inconsistency because consistency feels unfamiliar after being used to being tolerated, not valued. You keep hoping that maybe this time she'll come around. Maybe this time she'll see how loyal you are, how much you're willing to wait, how many times you'll forgive her disrespect if she just shows you the version of her she showed you in the beginning. But that version was temporary. It was bait. What you're dealing with now is who she truly is when she no longer feels the need to impress you. And that version has no intention of loving you right because she doesn't have to. Why would she? When you reward her breadcrumbs with deep conversations, emotional availability, support, intimacy, and second chances, you make it clear that you'll work for free. Men don't chase respect. Men demand it by walking away the second it's not present. When you chase, when you over-explain, when you ask for clarity from someone who benefits from your confusion, you lose your value. Not because you are less, but because you act like you are. You teach her that she can mislead you, ghost you, insult you, breadcrumb you, and you'll still answer at 2 a.m. You'll still cancel plans when she randomly becomes interested again. You'll still entertain her validation-seeking games, and that makes you predictable, safe, unchallenging, and worst of all, disposable. The only way to escape the cycle is to make a decision that you will no longer eat what poisons you just because you're hungry. You must starve that version of yourself that settles. You must starve the attention-seeking need that keeps you tied to someone who disrespects your value. You do this not by lashing out, not by trying to out-toxic her, not by matching her manipulation, but by disappearing from her radar like she never existed. No explanations, no closure talks, no hoping she'll notice. You become scarce in a way that doesn't punish her, but protects you. You stop giving your time to someone who only shows up when she needs something, someone who uses you as a backup battery when her ego runs low, someone who doesn't see your consistency as love, but as weakness. You protect your value by living in a way that forces people to respect your absence because they were careless with your presence. This is how you apply strength, not with aggression, but with self-control, not by seeking to be understood, but by becoming too focused on your own evolution to be distracted by someone who doesn't care if they slow you down. You begin investing your attention like a man with something to lose, not a boy desperate to win someone over. You prioritize your peace, your path, and your purpose so relentlessly that anyone who wants access to you must rise to the occasion. Not because you ask them to, but because your life demands it. You stop replying to texts that have no intention behind them. You stop engaging with people who drain you more than they build you. You stop explaining yourself to people who aren't listening. And you do this not once, but daily. As a standard, as a principle, as your new foundation. You understand that love without respect is manipulation. Attention without commitment is distraction. Apologies without action are lies. And connection without consistency is exploitation, so you remove yourself, fully, quietly, completely. You let her feel your absence not to hurt her, but to heal yourself, because you're done being the man who clings to pain, hoping it turns to peace. You're done being the backup plan. You're done being the one who always reaches out first. You don't reward breadcrumbs. You don't negotiate with indifference. You don't settle for maybe. You don't stay where you're tolerated just to avoid being alone. And when you walk with this kind of certainty, when you operate with this kind of discipline, when you apply this level of respect to yourself, you become untouchable. Not because you're cold, not because you don't care, but because you've realized that your peace is too expensive for anyone who can't afford your presence. That's when she'll remember what she lost. That's when she'll apologize. That's when she'll chase. But by then you won't even want it, because you'll have built a life so full, so rich, so purpose-driven that her crumbs can't compete with your feast. And that man doesn't just attract peace, he becomes it. And if you're ready to truly embody that peace, not just feel it for a moment, but carry it with you in every room you walk into, then it's time you take the next step. The Stoic Relationship Blueprint is now available in audiobook, filled with timeless Stoic principles crafted specifically for men who are done chasing validation and ready to build unshakable self-worth. You can listen while walking, training, or driving, letting each word rewire how you approach relationships, pain, power, and purpose. Ask yourself, how many more lessons will you suffer through before you invest in clarity? How many nights will you overthink someone who doesn't think twice about you? The knowledge in this audiobook is yours for life. The link is in the comments. Own it once, transform forever. Number 2, accept nothing less than change. You've heard her apologize before, haven't you? She says she's sorry with tears in her eyes. She says she didn't mean to hurt you, that she was confused, that she had a lot going on. And for a moment it feels real. It sounds sincere. It hits the part of you that wants to believe she finally sees what she's done. But then nothing changes. The silence returns. The distance returns. The attitude returns. You start wondering if you imagined the apology, if you're asking too much, if you're being too sensitive, and you lose yourself trying to decode someone who never planned to follow through. An apology without transformation is manipulation. And every time you accept her words without demanding her actions to match them, you train her that she can get away with hurting you as long as she's good with her delivery. And she is. She knows exactly when to text, when to act sorry, when to give just enough softness to keep your hope alive. But you need to bury that hope. You need to accept that words are easy for someone who doesn't feel the weight of their actions. And the reason she doesn't feel that weight is because you've absorbed it for her. You forgive too fast, you stay too long, you love too hard in a space where love isn't being returned with the same depth. Stop calling it a mistake when it's a pattern. Stop calling it miscommunication when it's consistent disrespect. You are not here to rehab her behavior. You are not her emotional training ground. She is not your project. She is not your responsibility. If she was capable of doing better, she would have. If she was actually sorry, she would change. But she doesn't, because she doesn't have to. Every time she says sorry and you act like everything is back to normal, you remove her accountability. You are the one resetting the score even when she hasn't earned it. And it's not because you're weak. It's because you've been conditioned to believe that forgiveness is love. It's not. Forgiveness without boundaries is surrender. Forgiveness without evidence is submission. You need to see it in her habits. You need to see it in how she speaks to you daily, in how she handles conflict, in how she takes ownership without blaming you, without using her trauma as a shield, without playing the victim every time you bring up your pain. You're not looking for perfection, you're looking for growth. If she can't even admit that what she did was wrong without turning it around on you, you are dealing with someone who sees your pain as leverage, not as something sacred. You cannot build a future with someone who weaponizes your patience. You don't need more conversations. You don't need closure. You need to step back and realize that your only mistake was believing someone's words instead of reading their reality. If she truly wanted to be better for you, she would be. If she truly saw your value, she would honor it without needing constant reminders. You don't have to scream your boundaries. You don't have to cry for her to notice your hurt. You walk, and you don't come back until you see consistency, clarity, and character in her behavior. That's what change looks like. Not texts, not flowers, not panic. Change is her meeting your standards even after she's comfortable again. Change is her showing you love without being asked to. Change is her owning her mistakes without deflecting or minimizing. And if you're not seeing that, then you're not seeing change. You're seeing performance. You're seeing delay. You're seeing damage control. You need to stop falling in love with potential. Potential doesn't pay off. Reality does. And her reality is shown in what she does every single day, not in what she promises when she's afraid of losing you. You become untouchable the moment you decide you are no longer available for inconsistency. You start operating on standards, not emotions. You start choosing peace over apologies. You stop making excuses for her behavior and start making space for the kind of connection that doesn't require you to beg for the bare minimum, because you've begged before, you've compromised, you've hoped. And look where that got you. Broken, confused, angry at yourself more than her because deep down you knew she wasn't going to change. And you stayed anyway. That ends now. You heal when you stop rewarding regret without repair. You rise when you stop romanticizing red flags. You win when you stop responding to "I'm sorry" and start waiting for proof. And not just one day of proof, not just when she's scared. You wait for consistency that doesn't depend on your reaction. That's your standard now. That's your new normal. And anyone who doesn't meet it loses access. Period. Number 3, cut emotional access. She knows you'll respond. She knows you'll pick up. She knows that no matter how much distance she creates, or how long she takes to reply, or how disrespectful she becomes, you're still emotionally available. And this is the very reason she doesn't value you, because you've placed no limit on how she can treat you while still having access to your emotions, your concern, your presence, your patience, your reassurance. And until that changes, she won't. Until you draw the line not in a text but in your lifestyle, in your decisions, in your energy. Nothing about her will shift, because why would she improve when you tolerate the worst of her while still giving her the best of you? And this is what needs to break. The illusion that your love will fix her behavior, because it won't. It just enables it. And you prove that to her every time you open up while she shuts down, every time you support her while she dismisses you, every time you explain how you feel to someone who never listens unless it threatens her access to your emotional investment. And even then, she only listens temporarily because she's not afraid to lose you. She's only afraid to lose the benefits that come from your presence. And as long as she knows she can get back in by being soft for a moment, by pretending to care, by sending a message that shows just enough emotion to pull you back into the loop, she will never stop controlling you through inconsistency. And the only way to escape this is to go completely unavailable. Not out of spite, not to prove a point, but because you realize that staying open to someone who misuses your openness is self-betrayal. And this means you stop updating her about your life. You stop replying to "I miss you" without follow-through. You stop responding to check-ins that are not backed by genuine change. You stop allowing her to speak to your heart when she's shown she can't handle it with care. And this isn't about being cold. It's about being in control, control over yourself, over your standards, over what you allow and what you stop feeding, because attention is currency and your emotional energy is gold. And if she keeps spending it recklessly and you keep replenishing it without question, then you are responsible for your emotional bankruptcy, not her, because people only take what you allow them to take. And when you stop giving, they reveal whether they were there for you or just the benefits you bring. And that's where most men struggle. You want to be loved so bad that you confuse tolerance with affection. You confuse her mood swings with depth. You confuse her silence with mystery. But what you're actually facing is emotional manipulation dressed as complexity, and you're losing yourself trying to crack a code that isn't meant to be solved but escaped, because women who value you don't make you guess, don't keep you in limbo, don't disappear, then reappear with vague reasons. They stay, they grow, they invest. And if that's not what you're getting, then you're not loved. You're being used, and no amount of waiting will turn that into something real, only your absence will. Because when you remove your access and she can no longer reach you emotionally, when she can't rely on you to reply, to explain, to comfort, to chase, to beg, to convince, then and only then will she be forced to face what she lost. And some will realize too late, and others will not care because they were never invested. And either way you win, because your peace no longer depends on her validation, your clarity no longer hinges on her approval. Your value is no longer tied to how much she needs you, and this is where true detachment begins. Not by pretending not to care, but by genuinely caring about yourself more than someone who doesn't. And it's not about cutting people off impulsively. It's about recognizing when someone is emotionally immature and learning that you cannot keep setting yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. And so you go silent, not to create curiosity, but to restore sanity. You stop replying, not to create attraction, but to reclaim your dignity. You stop being emotionally available, not because you want her to chase, but because you're tired of being caught in cycles where love feels like punishment and connection feels like confusion. And you realize that emotional access is earned, not owed. And if she's not consistent, not respectful, not growing, then she doesn't deserve that access. And the moment you start applying this standard, you stop being manipulated. You stop being guilted into staying where you're not growing. And suddenly the power dynamic flips. Not because you tried to flip it, but because power always returns to the one who no longer needs the game to feel worthy. So cut that access. Keep your emotions for people who cherish them. Stop bleeding for people who don't care if you heal. And watch how your life transforms, not because she changes, but because you do. Number 4, let her wonder. She expects you to chase. She expects you to explain. She expects you to react the same way you always do when she pulls away, goes cold, disappears for days, and returns with no explanation. She expects you to call her out and then comfort her when she makes herself the victim. She expects you to beg for a reason, for a response, for recognition. And when you stop doing that, when you do the one thing she never saw coming, nothing, you shake her entire illusion of control, because silence isn't absence. It's a message, it's a consequence, it's a lesson spoken in restraint, and that silence says everything she refused to hear when you were speaking. It forces her to sit with questions instead of answers, with guilt instead of comfort, with realization instead of excuses. And that space you create is not punishment, it's protection. Because every time you explain your worth to someone who doesn't value it, you lower your own. Every time you plead with someone to understand how they've hurt you, you shrink your dignity in hopes they'll validate your pain. And the truth is, they never do. Not because they don't understand, but because they don't care enough to stop doing it. And the only thing that breaks that cycle is removing the emotional access, the availability, the open door, the safety net she keeps falling into every time she ruins something and expects you to fix it. So let her wonder, let her think, let her replay her choices in the quiet. Let her sit with the loss of someone who gave her chance after chance until one day he just didn't. And that day is the beginning of your power, because real strength isn't shown when you force someone to stay. It's shown when you can walk away and leave the door closed, even when they come knocking with apologies, with explanations, with tears, because you know what's real and what's convenient, and most apologies are not real. They're emotional tactics used to pull you back into a situation where she still doesn't have to grow. So don't respond to late-night texts. Don't fall for the "I miss you" with no plan. Don't mistake regret for growth. Let her sit with herself. Let her ask the questions she never had to ask before, because you always gave her the answers. You always filled the silence. You always saved the connection. And now you're done doing that. You're done saving people who never tried to save you. You're done proving your value to someone who was blind to it. Because the second you stop explaining, the second you stop trying to be understood by someone who benefits from misunderstanding you, you reclaim the emotional leverage that was always yours to begin with. And that leverage isn't about getting her back. It's about getting yourself back. The version of you that stopped accepting emotional crumbs. The version of you that doesn't chase people who hurt him. The version of you that would rather be alone with peace than with someone who makes love feel like confusion. And when she starts to realize that the person she used to control with silence has now become immune to it, when she sees that the man who used to beg for closure now closes doors without a sound, that's when the real panic begins. Not because she lost you, but because she no longer has power over you, and that's what most people fear losing. Control, not connection. And your job is not to make her see your worth. It's to see it yourself and live in a way that reflects it so boldly that she feels your absence before she even admits your value. And when she spirals trying to figure out what you're doing, who you're with, why you're quiet, why you didn't respond, understand that this is not about revenge, it's about rhythm. A new rhythm where your peace isn't dependent on her presence, where your validation doesn't come from her attention, where your clarity is no longer something you hope she gives, but something you've found within. And in this rhythm, you don't react, you don't chase, you don't explain. You simply continue to live in a way that honors the man you're becoming, and that version of you becomes untouchable. Not because you're hiding, but because you've healed, and you no longer feed the cycles that once fed on your self-worth. So yes, let her wonder. Let her think she can come back whenever she wants. Let her think you're waiting. Until she realizes you've moved on without announcing it, without proving it, without needing her to know it, because your evolution is not for her understanding, it's for your transformation. And when she finally sees that the space she took for granted is now locked without explanation, when she finally hears nothing where you used to pour your heart out, when she finally feels the weight of the silence that once scared you but now empowers you, that's when she will know, deeply, painfully, permanently, that she didn't just lose a man, she lost a future. She lost protection, she lost presence, and you gained clarity, you gained discipline, you gained self-respect, and above all, you gained freedom. Number 5. Focus on yourself. You keep looking for closure in people who benefit from keeping you confused. You keep searching for peace in places that only gave you pain. You keep pouring your energy into understanding someone who doesn't even try to understand themselves. And the longer you make your growth dependent on their apology, the more power you give to the person who broke you. But the truth is, she's not going to fix it. She's not going to give you the healing she withheld while she had your love. She's not going to suddenly transform into someone who treats you with the respect you were always begging for, because people don't change under comfort, they change under consequence. And the longer you sit waiting for her to become who you needed her to be, the more of your life you're wasting in a holding pattern where you're no longer moving, no longer building, no longer becoming. And this is the part where you either collapse or construct, because no one's coming to save you. And if she ever does apologize, it'll come the day she sees you no longer want it, the day you've moved so far forward that her access to your energy is denied without a single explanation. And for that to happen, your focus needs to return to where it always should have been. On you, on the man you were before she broke your confidence, before you doubted your worth, before you started begging for someone to stay who didn't value being there. You don't need more texts. You don't need her clarity. You don't need her presence to repair the damage. What you need is routine, discipline, goals, a vision so powerful it doesn't have room for the past, and it begins with action, not emotion, because feelings come and go, but identity is forged in what you repeatedly do. So start building yourself like she never existed. Start investing your energy in the things that make you proud to wake up. Start writing down your goals and breaking them into ruthless daily steps. Fix your finances. Repair your relationships with people who actually show up. Build your body into a machine. Clean your space. Read real material. Master skills that produce freedom. And do it not to prove to her what she lost, but to prove to yourself what you've always been capable of, because the man you become after heartbreak is either built on bitterness or purpose. And if you choose purpose, you'll look back one day and thank her for not valuing you, because it pushed you to value yourself. And self-respect is the currency that changes your entire reality. It attracts the right people, repels the wrong ones, and makes you immune to low effort. And that version of you doesn't need to post about healing, doesn't need to speak about what he's been through, because it's evident in how he walks, in how he works, in how he no longer responds to things that once controlled him. And that power comes from choosing yourself again and again, especially on the days it would be easier to fall back into what's familiar, especially when the past knocks, especially when she comes back and says she's sorry, because you'll hear it, you'll acknowledge it, but you won't need it. And that's when you'll realize the real win wasn't getting her back, it was getting you back. The version of you that was buried under emotional labor, under overthinking, under fear of rejection. And he's not coming back through tears or talking. He's coming back through repetition, through accountability, through brutal honesty, and through the silent decision that you are no longer available for anything that doesn't match your standards, your peace, and your path. Because once you focus fully on yourself, the pain fades not because it disappears, but because it gets drowned out by purpose, and purpose is the antidote to every type of heartbreak. It makes what once broke you irrelevant. It makes what once distracted you feel like a detour, and it transforms you into the kind of man who doesn't settle, doesn't wait, doesn't explain his worth to people who couldn't recognize it the first time. And that man doesn't just attract peace, he becomes it. They don't want you to have this knowledge. Not the system, not the broken dating culture, not even the women who took your love for granted, because the moment you unlock this truth, they lose control. The Stoic Relationship Blueprint isn't just a book. It's your weapon, it's your clarity, it's your reset button. Filled with timeless Stoic principles, it's the unfiltered truth no one told you. Now available in audiobook so you can listen while walking, training, or rebuilding the man she thought she could play. If you're tired of feeling lost, if you're done giving your energy to those who never earned it, this is your moment. Click the link in the comments. Own the audiobook. Keep it forever. Comment, "I reclaim my peace," if you're ready to grab it. Like this video. Subscribe so more men find these truths before they waste years learning the hard way.